Okay, so I just watched this video about the vegan dog, and I really feel the need to make a response to this. Um, the very first thing I'm going to say is that I have absolutely no problem with vegan dogs. None at all. It's not something I would do personally. I'll get to that. But there's a few things in this video that I really wanted to address. Um, just because they didn't sit well with me, and for somebody who does dog nutrition and went to school and vet tech and all that other stuff, I'm going to go over these things because they really bother me. Okay, first, people are going to be angry well, some people are going to be angry if you tell them that your dog is a vegan. It is common knowledge that dogs are carnivores. Actually, they're not obligate carnivores like a cat is. They're a scavenging carnivore, which is kind of, you make a comment about how your dog is a scavenger, and that's normal. Dogs are normally a scavenger. But I'm going to try to stick to doing this in chronological order. I made notes because I wanted to make sure I got this all down. Okay, so if people are angry that your dog is a vegetarian, it kind of get the same feeling that people say to me, "Oh my God, your dog eats raw food," and I tell them to go away in usually nastier terms than that. But that's okay. That's your dog and it's your choice. And so long as the dog is living a healthy, happy life, I'm cool with that because being fed a vegan diet is better than being dead. So, one comment that you made is dogs are carnivorous. They are. They are carnivorous. If you look at their teeth, if you look at their digestive tract, regardless of how removed they are, which I'll get to that in a second, they are carnivores by design. So I understand why people get upset when you tell them that your dog is a vegetarian or a vegan because they are carnivores. So that would kind of like be you being an insectivore or being fed an insect diet when you are an omnivore. It just doesn't make sense. Although you could probably live a perfectly happy life eating insects, but it's not what your body was designed to do. One of my first red flags was that you say he was eating a high quality diet, but then you said that he was in a shelter. So most of the time those don't go together hand in hand. So really you need to define what a high quality meat-based diet is. To me, a high quality meat-based diet is a diet that consists of 65% or more meat ingredients with no grains. Perfect example of this is Champion Pet Foods. They make Acana and Origin. Although there are some of those foods that don't fit the 65% or more category. Blue Buffalo is a popular one. Iams, Pedigree, Evo, those are mostly plant-based and not the good kinds of plants. So you really need to define what you see as a high quality before you say, oh, well, he was eating a high quality one. Him being sick. There are a bajillion and a half reasons why he could have been sick when you brought him home. Stress, improper meat protein sources, preservatives in the food he was eating. There's so many different things that can affect why a dog would be throwing up their food. If he was eating chicken, he may have been violently allergic to chicken, which could be why he was throwing up. There are so many reasons. And a lot of people do opt to go vegetarian for their dogs simply because it is a very long process and a very hard process if you don't have the money to do allergy testing for your dog to figure out what protein source they are allergic to, and it's a lot easier, it's a lot less stressful on the dog. As far as there being no fillers, to me a grain is a filler, and there's lots of them in there. So really it's saying that there's no fill is kind of bogus because there's a lot of grains, and grains and dogs don't mix. Hypoallergenic, not hyper. You kind of got those crisscrossed. The one problem that I have with this food is that it is full of plant protein, and dogs do not have that much amylase in their system to properly digest plant protein. Now, a lot of people say, oh, well, you know, dogs are fed Iams and Pedigree and Purina for their entire lives and, you know, live fairly normal, happy lives. But usually how this works is because there is animal protein and not a lot of like there's a lot of plant protein and very little animal protein, um, dogs are very resilient creatures. Bodies kind of adapt to the little amount of animal protein they can get a hold of and absorb as much as their body can of the plant protein, even though it's not very much, and then that makes up their protein amount. So that's my only problem really with this food is that it is full of plant proteins, and plant proteins are not very beneficial for your dog. I will also note that your dog looks a bit overweight from the video. I haven't seen your dog in person, so I can't really say that, but I would, if your dog is overweight, I would attribute that to the excessive amount of carbohydrates. Your dog does not need carbohydrates at all, period, end of story. Biologically speaking, I'm not saying, dogs can't eat proteins because they'll explode, or carbohydrates. Biologically, you can remove all of the carbohydrates from a dog's diet, and it will be just as healthy today as it was 3 weeks ago, or 6 weeks ago, or 3 years ago, when you took the carbohydrates out of their diet. So it's just biologically moot for them to eat carbohydrates because it's not needed. It would be like you eating a grasshopper every day. You don't need that grasshopper to survive, so putting it in your diet is really not doing you very much. As far as killing animals to feed animals, I understand that it's a very sensitive subject for people who are vegan, vegetarian. And it is true. We do kill animals to feed our dogs. And the idea behind that is that dogs are carnivorous. So, omnivorous, depending on who you talk to, but like I said, teeth, digestive system, suggests that they are more carnivorous than omnivorous. So, yes, killing animals to feed animals. I only buy animals that are free-range, grain-free, or grain-fed, I should say, hormone-free. They live lives. I live in Northern Ontario, and I can say from actually being on a beef farm that these cows live lives. And yes, it sucks that they're killed in the end of it all, but I kind of feel better knowing that they weren't raised in a box or in a cage the size of a piece of paper so that my dog could eat, which is just not right. As far as dogs not being natural, this just doesn't even make sense to me from a genetic standpoint. Dogs are 99.8% the same as a wolf. So as far as them not being natural, that's really bogus, because dogs have only been around for a couple thousand years, and wolves have been around for like thousands and thousands and thousands of years, and wolves have not changed that much. And saying that yes, dogs have is fine, but even a Chihuahua is only 99.8% different than a wolf. And if you allow dogs, if you see videos of dogs who live up, prime example, there was a video in the news about a group of dogs taken from a village in Attawapiskat, and these puppies look very wolf-like, because if you let them go backwards in the evolutionary chain, they will eventually look like wolves again. And that's because they are 99.8% wolf. Just like you are like 98% ape. It's just the way that genetics work. And that's okay. It's okay for your dog to be more kind of like a wolf, because they kind of are. And that's why we bred them to be with us, because back in the day, people realized that wolves were really good hunters, and hey, we should kind of get a relationship going with these guys. So that's kind of how it all started, and that's why huskies look so much like wolves, because they've kind of remained close to their ancestral forefathers. Their jobs are very much the same as they were back in the day, whereas a Chihuahua has bred to be a companion. So dogs aren't a natural thing. The fact that they've been bred into something they're not supposed to be, sorry, I groomed a really fuzzy dog today, so I've got fur in my eyelashes, no, it's not natural. But it's going to take more than, 10, 12, 20 generations to change the biological makeup of a dog. It took thousands and thousands of years to make a wolf what it is today, and it still looks the same. It's us who have made the changes on the outside, but the inside is really all the same. As far as being scavengers, like I said, of course, they've always been scavengers. Even wolves are scavengers, because let's face it, if they can go and find some random dead animal, they're probably going to eat that first. So it is totally normal for your dog to eat a watermelon if they like the taste of watermelon. My St. Bernard likes pickles. My Basset Hound will eat a nest of rabbits if she finds one. She's got a thing for moles, too. My last thing is, I actually went on the website for the V-Dog ingredients, and I'm actually really impressed. They do a really good job. I've got two really weird things, and as far as there being no fake food, you really should read the bag, because peat protein concentrate is not a natural food. Neither is natural vegetable flavor. And if you didn't know that those were in there, and you're realizing now that there are synthetic things added to the food, that's fine. I suggest that if you are trying to feed your dog a vegan diet, then you make one yourself. If you don't have the time to make one, Sojo's has a dehydrated vegetable mix that you add water to. You're supposed to add meat to it as well. There is going to be the issue of AFCO certification, and I'm not even sure if V-Dog is AFCO certified to be a complete dog food, and that kind of scares me, because there could be things. Oh no, there it says that it has AFCO certified. There could be things that you're missing. Obviously there's not, because it says that's AFCO certified, but you have to make sure, you have to remember and keep in mind that these values are put through a computer, not through a dog. So just because the computer says, oh, well, there's 50% protein, doesn't mean that the dog can absorb all that 50%. Like I said, if you're interested in feeding your dog a truly vegan diet, then I suggest that you skip the plant, the facility, and the fossil fuels, and the transportation, and the packaging, and all that other stuff, and just feed your dog raw food. Even if you have to, do some digging and research, I know plenty of dogs who eat raw carrots and broccoli and kale and spinach and don't have any meat at all, and they live great lives, and usually because they're allergic to meat, but it's a totally viable way of doing it. So those were my concerns. I hope that your dog lives a long, healthy life, and like I said, I'm not making this video because I think that you're doing some big, huge, wrong thing for your dog. I just really felt the need to clear some things up so that people get the right idea of what you're doing and why you're doing it, and a couple things that I didn't really agree with. But that's okay, because that's what makes the world go round. My suggestion to you would be to see if there's a reason why your dog cannot eat meat, and maybe incorporate some meat into your dog's diet. If you decide not to, then that's your prerogative, and it's your dog, and he looks healthy to me, so really, that's my main concern, is that your dog is healthy, and that you are healthy, and that everybody's healthy, and lives long, happy, fulfilling lives being healthy. So, thank you for watching my video, and I hope to see other videos of you and your fabulous dog.